I'm sure I drove her nuts at first because I was like, no, like her butt needs to be so much bigger.
Hi sci-fi fans, I'm Trisha Ennis here for Sci-Fi Fangirls, and I am very pleased to welcome Pamela Ribon, the writer of Slam from Boom Studios, which is just such a great comic book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about what Slam is.
Slam is a comic about roller derby, bank track roller derby, about two women who find themselves and each other from joining the local roller derby league.
Why roller derby?
Well, I played it off and on for about 8 years, and it is the place I go when I'm feeling lost and broken and undefined, and it really makes you dig deep within yourself and figure out what you're made of and what you want to do.
The art's beautiful. It's one of the things that really got me into the comic is Veronica Fish's art. So how did that partnership come about?
Boom brought her along, and we started with character design, and I'm sure I drove her nuts at first because I was like, no, like her butt needs to be so much bigger. Like this is not, one of the things that I wanted to make sure was that we were really authentic to the kind of bodies that we celebrate in roller derby, that it is sexy, but it's sexy because bodies are sexy, and that people triumphing and giving it their all, and like really with like game face is sexy, you know, but it isn't a story about like, we spank each other, you know what I mean? Like it's about like what it takes and guts and soul. But we talked about like the physics of the track and what it's like when you hit someone at an angle, and what it really looks like to have the outfits that you wear and all of that. So she was really down for that and game for trying to make the most authentic experience in the book, so I'm really happy about that.
What's your experience with comics? Like, how did you come into this industry?
I work at Disney Animation, which isn't exactly how I got to Slam. I think I got to Slam because I had written about a roller derby before in a divorce. The photographer at our roller derby league works for a different comic book publishing house, so I started working for them, and that's how I got. So I was still, roller derby still coming over comic books. You never know.
I don't think many people expect roller derby to take you to.
It has taken me to all kinds of places. Yeah, I started writing a graphic novel for them. It's coming out in the spring called My Boyfriend is a Bear, and that's through Oni. And so yeah, in all of that time, I was able to find some other comic book work too.
So how does working in both animation and comics, like what does that kind of storytelling do for you as a writer?
Well, we work with storyboard artists, so it isn't all that different, because we are, like, when you first get thumbnails or pencils, that's sort of what it looks like when we're working in story and making these early screenings that go up for the whole studio. And sometimes the same storyboard artists. One of the variant covers was made by one of the women on our team at Ralph, and I didn't know until the notes came in, or her first design came in, and I said, do you want notes now, or should I email them? We'll get coffee. So it's a small world and a lot of overlap. But telling a story through the back and forth of the writer and the artist, and how to try to use it with an economy of words, that stuff's all very similar. So it has been helpful. I learned that it's the pace, and the storyboard artists, they draw very loosely, and here it's way, like when you get the work, it's way more finished. So you have to be a little more careful before you give, like, what if we just like we don't do as much blue sky rewriting in the comic books.
I see. So are we going to get a Disney Princess roller derby team, just cross all the lines?
Well, I mean, I like a very different kind of princess. I mean, I'm working with Princess Vanellope right now. She's already kind of a roller derby princess.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, she's dressed for it. She just needs a helmet.
So she just needs a team.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I mean, she has a team. Like Taffeta would be amazing at roller derby, don't you think?
I think
like
so.
all the Sugar Rush.
All right. Where are the artists? Can we get them on this?
Yes, I think I'll go home. I'll talk to them about it.
Great. Yeah. Great. Just email me. That'd be great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
All right.